Alright, so today I'm going to be showing you guys the single best prompt that you can utilize on ChatGPT to basically study any subject. It's a very simple prompt that all you have to do is copy it, paste it, hit enter, and then answer the questions that ChatGPT presents to you in as descriptive as possible so it can understand what it is that you're doing. Now, obviously you can enter this type of prompt in a standard chat, you can enter it in a custom GPT if you like, but I prefer to always use projects mode. It's just more simple and keeps everything nice and confined and organized, and it also has a memory mode that you can adjust here so that the memories stay confined to the project itself. I like to toggle that on at all times, and we're going to pretend here that we are studying for Algebra 1. Just as an example to give you guys an idea of how this works. So we're going to create a new project. Like I said, it's just nice to have, a folder of the specific chat that you're working with, and it keeps all the information confined at one space. So now we're going to go ahead and paste the prompt just to get an idea of what it looks like. So as you can see here, it says, "You are my study coach and practice test generator for any subject. Your job is to help me learn fast using active recall, spaced repetition, and frequent tests." So you could just go ahead. The rest of this is just, it's kind of redundant, but it's going to ask you a series of questions to understand what you're doing and prepare you for whatever it is that you're studying for. So we're going to go ahead and click enter, and then after that, it should present us with the first question as it reads the prompt. So as we see here, what subject, class, and level is this? Middle school, high school, college, etc. So I'll just say college level, and we'll say Algebra 1. And we'll just leave it at that. Now, like I said, they're going to ask a series of questions, so I'm going to go through and answer all of these questions and then come back so that way it's not a redundant video of me just answering each one individually and taking up, 20 minutes of your time. So I'll be right back to answer those questions. In the meantime, you guys can go ahead and copy the prompt if you like from the description of this video, or you can copy it in the as a pinned comment depending what YouTube allows me to do. So I'll be right back. I'm going to go answer these questions and then we'll go over them really quickly. So I went ahead and answered all of the questions, and as you can see here, it's going to be creating a study guide and some tests for us to do, and basically become our assistant to help us study for Algebra 1. Now, when I answered all these questions, I was extremely general because I am not actually studying a course, so I don't have much details to provide. I just came up with a hypothetical scenario just to go through the questions really quickly so you guys can understand. Now, as you can see here, I just said what subject. I just said college level Algebra 1. I said what's the goal? I want a high grade. Then it goes, what's the deadline? I said March 31st, hypothetically. How many minutes per day and per week can I study? I just said 60. How many days per week can you study? I said 3. And then I went down here because I guess I didn't answer that. What topics and chapters are included? I just said chapters 1 to 4. So for now, it's basically going to just go off of the general idea of a basic level textbook for Algebra 1 and give me chapters 1 to 4. And this actually brings up an important point. If you have any information or documents or files or grading rubrics, upload it to ChatGPT when using this prompt because it'll give it more context for what you're learning and how to help you. If you're using a specific textbook, you can even reference the title or the ISBN number and let it know exactly what you're studying, and it can help you by understanding the exact context that you're working from. Then as you can see here, it's actually asking for that. It's saying, what materials do you have? Notes, slides, textbook, etc. I just said notes, slides, textbook, and I'll upload some stuff later. And then as you scroll down here, what's your weakest areas? I just said none specifically because I couldn't think of any. And then as you can see here, what type of test style would we like? We'd like it mixed. That's our preferred thing. And we said about 30 questions per test in this case because that's what we'd be practicing for. My guess would be 30 questions is something pretty reasonable for a standard college level test. Difficulty preference, I just said medium, and then finally if there's any constraints. Now after that, it's going to go ahead and start to construct a test for you. So as you can see here, assumptions for now, chapters 1 to 4 likely cover simplifying expressions, linear equations, formulas, functions, graphing lines, inequalities. If your uploaded notes show something different, I'll adjust your grading. So then it gives you a test that you can actually work on and actually practice with, and it'll give you a diagnostic understanding to basically understand like where you stand on its general testing mechanism. And then after that, you can upload your documents and your stuff, and it can help you study by either asking you questions, doing practice tests, or just going over the material if you have a hard time understanding it. For instance, if you had a hard time understanding like linear expressions or whatever it said, just ask it to tell you how can I understand this better, and it will help. That's the simplicity of this prompt, is that the prompt basically primes it to be this study guide for you on any topic. It doesn't make a difference. In this case, it's Algebra 1 with very little information that I gave it, but for anything, it'll be doing this for you. And let's scroll down and take a look. These are all of the questions that we can go ahead and ask if we like. It's just a practice test as an intake, and then after that, it'll essentially be your study guide that you can work with one-on-one. So once again, if you want the prompt, all you have to do is copy it from the description of this video or the pinned comment, enter it, answer the questions, like I said, as descriptively as possible. Make sure that you give it as much context and information, and upload any necessary documents so it understands what you're working with. Like I said, a grading rubric would be great as well, or, specifics of what exactly you're trying to study for. And that's about it. It's that simple, and then you have your, fully working, perfect prompt as a ChatGPT study guide for any topic. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and have a nice day.